Imagine a locked room mystery. You know the type, right? Like something out of an Agatha Christie novel.
Exactly. Something happens in a sealed space, and it seems impossible.
Right. And you read it because you know there's a neat solution on the last page.
Yeah.
The author has it all planned out.
But what happens when that locked room is the real world? When a person in plain sight just ceases to exist.
That's what we're wrestling with today.
And this case?
Mm-hmm.
The vanishing of Andrew Gosden. It keeps me up at night because it just breaks all the rules.
It really does. Andrew is a 14-year-old boy from Doncaster. Gifted kid, great at math, perfect school attendance.
Just a totally normal kid.
And the mystery is how quickly that normal life just dissolved. We're talking about September 14th, 2007, a Friday.
It starts as a completely normal school day, but it ends with one of the UK's most high-profile missing person cases.
So for this deep dive, our mission is to move past the headlines. We want to look at the hard facts, the really strange specific details, and, well, the heartbreaking reality for the family that's left behind.
I think we have to, because the how of it all is just baffling. How does a teenager walk off the map in the 21st century?
Let's start with the timeline then, because the morning itself, it didn't look like the start of a tragedy at all.
No, it looked completely routine. Andrew leaves his home in Balby, Doncaster. He's in his full school uniform.
So to anyone watching, just another kid on his way to school.
But the deviation happens almost right away.
He doesn't go to school. He waits somewhere nearby, lets his parents leave for work, and then he goes back home.
And this is the first really deliberate choice. He changes out of his uniform,
He puts on black jeans and a Slipknot t-shirt.
putting on his own identity, in a way.
Yeah. But here's the detail that always gets me. The backpack. He takes his school bag, but there's almost nothing in it.
That is a massive detail. I mean, from a behavioral analysis standpoint, a bag's contents are like a roadmap to your intent.
Right. If you're running away forever, you pack things. Clothes, a charger, some food.
Sentimental items. Books. You pack for survival. An empty bag suggests a day trip. It suggests you're planning on coming back.
Or at least it doesn't suggest a permanent escape. So he's got his Slipknot shirt on, this nearly empty bag, and then he heads to the bank.
He goes to a cash machine, and he withdraws 200 pounds.
And we have to stop and think about that amount. For a 14-year-old in 2007, that's an empire.
Oh, it feels like a fortune. But, and this is the part that matters, it was almost all the money he had. He left about 100 pounds in the account.
See, that's where I get stuck. If I'm starting a new life, I'm taking every last penny.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Leaving a buffer. It suggests you think you'll still have an account to come back to.
It's a really good point.
Yeah.
But then you have the flip side. 200 pounds, even then, is not enough to survive on.
Not for long now.
You can't rent a room. You can't live for weeks. So we have these conflicting signals. The empty bag says short trip, but the drained bank account says, I need cash now.
And then comes the moment that it haunts everyone who follows this case. The train station.
He walks up to the ticket counter in Doncaster and asks for a ticket to London King's Cross.
And the ticket seller, doing their job, almost certainly offered him a return ticket for just a tiny bit more money.
It's standard procedure. Return is only £1 more.
But Andrew specifically said no, he bought a one-way.
And that, to an adult mind, screams no return. It implies something final.
A permanent plan.
It does, if you're thinking like an adult. But we have to remember, he's 14. His brain's prefrontal cortex, the part that handles long-term planning, it isn't fully developed.
So you think we're reading too much into the one-way ticket?
It's possible. I mean, maybe he was just being frugal. Or maybe he didn't know what time he'd want to come back and didn't want to be locked into a specific train.
So he thought, I'll just buy the return ticket later when I'm ready.
Exactly. To us, looking back, it's this huge, ominous sign. To him, in that moment, it might have been a simple, practical decision.
A teenage decision.
Precisely. But he gets on that 9.35 train, alone, and he heads down to London.
Which brings us to his arrival, King's Cross Station. I mean, if you've been there, you know it's just organized chaos. It's huge.
It's a gateway to the city. He arrives mid-morning, and this is the last time we have eyes on him.
The CCTV footage.
Yes. And it's what the footage shows about his mood, his demeanor, that's so crucial.
Because you'd expect a runaway kid in London to look scared, right?
Or nervous, looking over his shoulder, rushing somewhere.
Panic?
See panic. But with Andrew, there's none of that. He isn't rushing. He doesn't look afraid. He just looks calm.
Like a tourist.
He really does. It's unsettling because it doesn't fit the narrative of a child in distress. He adjusts his bag, walks out of the station into the daylight.
And he's gone.
He just evaporates.
And I really want to stress that for you listening. After he walks out those doors, there is nothing. No credible sightings, no phone calls.
And the bank account, never touched again.
It's as if he became invisible the second he hit the pavement.
And this is where the mystery becomes a tragedy of errors. The investigation itself.
Yeah, this part is just infuriating. King's Cross has to be one of the most surveilled places on the planet. How do you lose someone there?
You lose him because surveillance in 2007 wasn't what it is today. People forget this. There was no infinite cloud storage.
Right, it was all recorded on physical hard drives.
Or tapes.
Yeah.
And those drives had limited space. They were constantly recording over themselves.
So the evidence was just erased by the system itself.
Yes. Most systems were on a 28-day loop, sometimes even less. If you didn't grab the footage within that window, it was gone forever.
And the police didn't get it in time.
Not all of it. To be fair, when a 14-year-old goes missing, the first assumption is that they're local. They focused on Doncaster first.
Checking his friends' houses, local parks.
Exactly. By the time they realized she'd gone to London and that they needed that footage, the window had closed.
So the camera that might have caught him getting into a car or meeting someone just outside the station.
That footage existed. It sat on a hard drive for weeks, and it was just overwritten. It's a heartbreaking what if.
But the trail wasn't cold, it was deleted.
And that just leaves this void. And in that void, there's the family's grief.
We have to talk about the human cost. While we're sitting here analyzing clues, there's a family that's been living in this suspended reality for almost 2 decades.
There's a term for it, ambiguous loss. It's different from normal grief because there's no finality. There's no closure.
Because your brain is stuck, right? It can't process an ending that hasn't happened.
Exactly. It's a constant state of high alert. You're grieving someone who might be alive. You can't let go of hope, but the hope itself is excruciating.
Andrew's father, Kevin Gosden, has written about this. He wrote a blog post for what would have been Andrew's 30th birthday in 2023.
The way he describes it, crippling anxiety and depression. He talks about being barely able to function.
And he says time doesn't make it easier, that it's often the small things that make it worse.
Because every small thing is a reminder of the absence.
And there's one story he shared that it perfectly captures this passage of time against the frozen mystery. The story of the acorns.
Oh, yes. The oak trees.
So when Andrew was about 10, he planted some acorns in their garden. Just a little kid's project.
And his dad, Kevin, kept them going. He replanted them, nurtured them over the years.
And then, in 2022, one of those trees, it produced its first acorn.
Think about that. The tree went through its entire life cycle, from a seed to a sapling to a mature oak tree that can create new life.
It did exactly what Andrew thought it would. The world kept moving. The tree grew up.
But Andrew, in our minds and in the police files, is frozen at 14.
It's such a heavy physical marker of all that stolen time.
It really is.
But after all those years of silence, there was a sudden jolt in the case.
There was. In December 2021, after so long, a major development.
I remember the headlines. 2 men were arrested. And the things they were arrested on suspicion of were specific and very dark.
Yes. A 45-year-old man and a 38-year-old. The suspicions were kidnap, human trafficking, and for one of them, possession of indecent images of children.
And that just changes the whole story, doesn't it? It shifts it away from lost runaway to...
Targeted victim. It suggests he was lured there or that he met a predator.
And the police seized a bunch of devices from them. Computers, phones.
They were looking for that digital breadcrumb trail to connect them to Andrew.
What happened?
They were both released under investigation. As of now, no charges have been brought that officially link them to Andrew's disappearance.
So we're back to waiting. Does that mean it was a dead end?
Not necessarily. The police don't make arrests for things like human trafficking on a whim. They had a credible lead.
But having a strong suspicion isn't the same as having evidence that will stand up in court.
And that's the immense challenge of a cold case. Without a body, without a confession, it's incredibly difficult to get that final piece of the puzzle.
What a roller coaster for the family, to have that hope ignite and then just fade back to silence.
Which is why they've channeled so much of their energy into awareness.
Working with the Missing People charity.
Yes, and promoting the 116,000 helpline. They've helped turn their personal tragedy into a lifeline for other families.
And they've also used technology, because Andrew wouldn't look like a 14-year-old anymore.
Exactly. They use age progression software. They create these images of what Andrew might look like today as a man in his 30s.
They're uncanny to look at, aren't they? It looks like him, but It's a version of him that's never existed in a photograph.
It's a ghost. But it's so important, because if Andrew is out there, he doesn't look like the boy on the posters.
So where does this all leave us?
It leaves us with a puzzle, but it also leaves us with a responsibility. This isn't just a story, it's an active investigation.
Right, someone listening to this might know something, even something tiny they saw back in 2007.
A kid on a train that day who seemed a bit out of place, a conversation they overheard, anything.
No detail is too small. We have to remember the haunting pieces. The one-way ticket, the Slipknot shirt, the calm walk out of King's Cross.
These were choices made by a real person, a 14-year-old boy.
And that final image of him, walking into one of the busiest cities on Earth, surrounded by people and cameras, and then nothing.
It just fundamentally challenges our idea that you can't just disappear. Andrew Gosden proved that you can.
And until he's found, the family keeps waiting. If you have any information, please contact the South Yorkshire Police or the Missing People Charity.
Could be the one thing they need.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's a heavy one, but an important one.
Thank you for listening.
Take care.